The PARCC assessment, or Partnership for Assessment of Readiness for College and Careers, and the DLM, Dynamic Learning Maps, each have their own accommodations and checklists. These two state assessments begin in the 3rd grade. 99% of all students take the PARCC assessment. It is computer-based, and there is a new checklist included in the IEP that describes the features available to all students and those accommodations that are noted in an IEP. The accommodations that have an asterisk will flag a test, and discussion of what this means will be part of the IEP meeting for students who need these accommodations. It will be assumed that a student will take the PARCC assessment unless it is deemed not appropriate. The next page indicates the reasons the DLM, in lieu of the PARCC assessment, is the appropriate assessment for a student. This will be discussed, updated, or reviewed at each IEP meeting. Up to 1% of students will participate in the DLM. The second page includes a checklist of the accommodations for the DLM.
Will my child take the same assessment every year?
Probably. 99% of our students do take the PARCC assessment. It is based on the Common Core standards, which all students, whether they're in special ed or not, should be exposed to. However, there are a small group, about 1% of our students, where the DLM is a more appropriate assessment of their skill level. And most of the time, they stay with that same assessment.
So what's the mechanism that's used to determine which test is appropriate?
That's a really good question. Again, we kind of go in with the assumption that they're going to take the PARCC assessment. But when we get into 3rd grade or when a new student comes to us, we really do look at their skill sets. And we have something called the Dynamic Learning Maps Participation Guide that's sitting up right here. And that kind of walks us through the questions that we would have as far as is this appropriate assessment for them. And so that's what we use to determine if the DLM is appropriate as opposed to the PARCC assessment.
Okay. All right, thanks.